Alrighty, hello, hello. I'm not quite sure why the video didn't play on the screen, but it played on my end. So hopefully you guys are seeing us. It is Jill back for another Midlife Mojo Monday. As you guys know, at the 2 o'clock-ish hour, always something at the very last minute. But I thank you guys for being on here every Monday, watching either live or on the replay. And please, if you have any comments, put them in there. And at the end, if we have a time, we'll go back through them or definitely answer them a little bit later. But every single Monday, I am here again at the 2 o'clock-ish hour doing some kind of education, demonstration, or interviewing some kind of special guest like I have on today. And I'm very excited for this guest. This week in the group, every week in the Midlife Mojo group, we have a different topic. And this week's topic is follow your instincts. And we've got a lot of great information about that. And my special guest today, Kathryn Birchwood, I thought was a perfect fit for this topic. She really is going to talk all about teaching midlife women how to turn their passion and their skills and all of these things that they have within them into income. And that's always what I have done with my life. I always say, every single career I have started out just as a passion, something I did for myself to learn that I enjoyed. And then somehow it turned into something that I ended up sharing with others for income. So I'm very excited to hear what she has to share with you guys all today. So let me read her bio first, and then I will bring Kathryn on. So Kathryn Birchwood has spent more than 2 decades in the corporate world, both as an employee and a consultant in 2 different professions. After experiencing the gender pay gap firsthand, she realized early in her career that fair pay is something that women can't take for granted. By mid-career, she was struggling with a restless need to escape the corporate grind and do something else. She began learning online marketing and was fortunate to meet a mentor who helped her create her first digital product. She has since learned from other top marketers and integrated her expertise in process design to create the Income Idea Incubator, a step-by-step program to help women turn their skills into another source of income. Now a corporate refugee, Kathryn is on a mission to give other restless women greater choice by paying themselves the maximum they can earn from their skills. And I love this, what Kathryn wrote. She has a big why. Kathryn believes that each of us is given a slice of time on this planet to achieve a personal mission. But all too often, women sacrifice their own mission for those of their employers, family members, etc. To add insult to injury, on every financial yardstick, women rank lower than men. We've talked about this, right? So she believes that women must exert greater control over their lives so they can accomplish their own life missions, and that the pathway to do this is to gain greater control over their income. So let me bring on Kathryn. Hold on, let me hide this. All righty, there you go. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, hello.
Hello,
Hello.
welcome. So excited. When I'm reading your bio, I was getting even more and more excited to learn a little bit more about you and what you do, because truly that is what I've always done, is kind of turn what I knew I had in me to share, and turned it into something that I just, was able to do what I wanted to for money, for money. And I don't know about you, but I truly believe, like, if you do something you love, then you never work a day in your life, right? That's
That's
what they
right.
say. And that's how I feel. So I am really excited just to kind of delve right in. And this is kind of your show today. So I'm going to come and go off and on screen. But I want to start off by asking you, why do you think that, in particular women, right? Because we talk in this group of midlife women, why do you think that they have a particular need to have this ability to turn their skills into income? Because I know I have a lot of talented women in this group. They come to me all the time. They say, oh, I want to do what you do, but where do I start? So I know they've got stuff in them. So why do you think it's important for them?
Well, as you mentioned in the bio, I think that the gender pay gap is already stacking the deck against us. And on every financial measure, we are behind. Throughout our career, we take breaks for childcare, parent care, and now with COVID, a lot of women are forced to leave their jobs because their children are on Zoom school. Just think how much better off they'd be if they had a second source of income already, right? And when it comes to retirement, we're also behind, and retirement is more about income than having massive savings. That's what people don't seem to understand. As long as you have an income, you don't have to have a cajillion dollars sitting in a bank account. Even when we get divorced, we always end up on the wrong side of the financial stick. So we really need to be more strategic about how we earn our income, because the factors that affect our income are very different from what affects men's income. And that's why I think that it's more important for women to think about it than men. It's already working for them quite well.
It is, and like you really hit upon a point that I hadn't really thought of, because my daughter is home and she's remote schooling, but I was already working from home, so it was not an impact on my life, and so was my husband. So it really, our lives didn't dramatically change. But for
Yeah.
so many people, that unexpected, I mean, who a year ago would have thought, right? So
Yes.
all of those unexpected things, and I think, with my midlife women especially, and I'm guilty of this so somewhat too. We've depended on our men and our men's income, and maybe you were, did your job as raising your children, a very important job, but
That's right.
you weren't paid for that. And then
Yes.
all of a sudden some tragedy may happen, or a divorce, like you said, or
Yeah.
unfortunately maybe a husband passed. You just don't know what happens in life. And
Exactly.
to be unprepared, I think, has caught a lot of people off guard. So I think what you have to share is even more important than it was even a year ago. And I
Yeah.
think people are opening their eyes. Yeah.
COVID has changed everything, across the world. So it's been a big lesson for a lot of women. And unfortunately, you don't wait until something happens. You need to have it already there, ideally. But nobody could have predicted this, really.
No, no, definitely not. And I think that women are, and you said it exactly. Women are forced into like this. They have to be the flexible ones,
Yeah.
right? You said the women are leaving their jobs. You didn't say men were leaving their jobs to come home, right? So, and it's almost an assumption that that's the way.
That's right.
Um,
And
so
very often it's because the men are already earning more. So okay, it makes more sense. But at the same time, as you say, if you end up in a situation where, God forbid, your husband gets COVID,
yeah,
or we're living so precariously. We just don't think about it.
yeah.
You know?
And the fact that you said also that people aren't able sometimes even to go to their work. I know there are people in this country who their work has been shut down right now. There's
Yes.
a lot of things. So to have this, I call them in my world, and I don't know what you call them, but I call them streams of income.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm a big believer in multiple streams of income.
Yes.
And I never am short of it. And I definitely make sure that I'm just like, the one time in my life I had one source of income, I got caught, and I will never get caught again. So I think it's always good, right? Maybe you have some money coming at the beginning of the month from one of your income ideas, another. So I love that. So, but a big part for me and what we teach in my group is following your passion, right? Like there's no sense if we're going to do a second job or even start something from scratch.
Yes.
Like I feel like it has to be something we're passionate about. So how can making income from our skills, be linked to somewhat like, I think in our 50s and 60s, we're looking for like a purpose in our life. It's not just about the money, right? That's a nice little side effect. Well, in this day and age, it's important, but I think, purpose, what's the purpose, the tie to that?
So sometimes, and especially again with women, the way that we earn our income is related more to what society expects of us or what our parents expect of us, right? I had a friend who, when I decided to quit corporate, because I had been restless for a long time and I had been jumping from job to job, and she said to me, "What is wrong with you? Why don't you just suck it up? You're an adult and this is what you're supposed to do as an adult, and
Yeah,
just suck it up." And you know, everybody has to make different choices,
yeah,
right? And the thought of sucking it up until I was 65, I thought, I'm never going to make it. I'll die
yeah,
before that from stress, right? And so it's that expectation that, well, when you grow up, this is what you're supposed to do. Well, no, when you grow up, you're supposed to be able to look after yourself, and how you choose to do that is totally up to you. So when we live on purpose, it means that we have a master plan for our lives. And it really doesn't have anything to do with what anybody else thinks, right? And we're not settling for what other people want or other people expect. We are the ones who decide what that master plan is. And so when you know your purpose, you have that master plan, And from that position of strength, of knowing this is what I'm about, you can make choices about how you are going to make income. What is it that you want to do? What sources of income, how much income. But when you don't have that master plan, that purpose, you flit with the wind, you wander around, you go with the flow. And this is why I created the incubator, because I found a lot of people, they were sitting there and they just, as you said, they don't know what to do. They don't know what they want to do.
Yeah, so
Right?
especially midlife women. I mean, we've just had blinders on going through life. We were too busy doing diapers, doing kitchen
Yeah,
duty, all that to
yeah,
even think about us. And now all of a
yeah.
sudden we're dumped with an empty nest. And what do
Yes.
we do?
We're
Yeah.
stuck. And then I think people feel stuck because they don't have that master plan. I never feel stuck because I always know I'm doing this, I'm about that. And it just, you know what? Work just got in the way of my life.
Love it. Love it.
So, I think it's really important. And that's one of the things I take people through. It's first of all, figuring out what is your master plan? What do you want out of life? Before we even talk about income, what do you want? And then everything else flows from there. So I think that the two are very linked because it helps you decide the direction that you're going in.
I absolutely love that. And it's interesting because literally, and I'm not exact, like 2 days ago, 3 days ago, my 16-year-old who is passionate about her art. She's an amazing artist. And
Oh,
she's big into fashion. You would never know it from her mother, but like she is like, oh my, in terms of her fashion. And we were talking the other day, older brother was home from college, and he's a very driven guy, and she is a very driven girl. They're both equally smart and driven. But she said to me, Mom, she says, I know this sounds kind of strange. She says, I know that just like you said, she goes, I know we're supposed to want to have this big job and this big career. And I know I'm supposed to want to go into the fashion world and be a fashion designer. She goes, but honestly, she goes, I think I'd be happiest if I just had like my own little boutique where I could shop for the own clothes and buy it and like have like a life. And that would be like that. And I was like, go for it. But
yeah,
that was it. And I think so many people don't even I'm like, at 16, look at that. She's already thinking about and I said, honey, what makes you happy is what you should be doing. And that's so tied to what you have said. I mean, and so I think also part of that, and I will take a little credit, is by example, right? She's
yes,
always seen myself do that and not follow the norm. And it's been weird for my kids because I'm not a doctor, a lawyer, a teacher, a nurse. I'm not any of those. What does mom do? She writes books about menopause, you know, but I think that is so perfect. And you said one other thing that I love, and you talk about this master plan. And I love that word master plan. And here we are heading into the new year. And now is the time that's a big time for me to get my plan. I'm going to be working on mine.
yes,
So this topic is so timely.
yes,
And it's so like, you're so right. I love that. I love that you're not about the money first. You're about the person and the purpose first, because you're so right. Everything flows easy, like you said,
yes,
when you come.
yes.
So why is making this decision? Because, right, like you said, women flit through life. They're floating back and forth, not sure. Why is this decision, do you think, one of the most important acts that you can make in order to accomplish these goals?
Because again, it's back to that what do you want? And once you decide what you want, it's like it's the critical first step.
Mhm.
Without that, we're not going anywhere. We run the risk of living by default. Whatever comes up, we go along. But when you have made a very firm decision about what you want, what you're going to do, it's like it's like charting a course and setting your sails to your promised land,
Oh, I love that.
right?
Yeah.
And you're the captain of your ship, and you're the only one who decides where you're going and what you're doing. And once again in my life, I have found that once I make the decision, I don't always know how it's going to work out, but the decision making starts the process of everything starting to flow. And we're all in midlife, and I think we have the experience now that, at least I do, because I've done it so many times, that I don't worry anymore. I just jump. I jump because I know the parachute is going to show up, you know I make a decision, and it's almost like it's happening faster now. By the next day, there's an email in my box
Yeah,
that from somebody I never heard of. But it's like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what I was looking for. And so it's the decision making that sets all the energy of the universe in motion. I
I
think.
love it. I call that inspired action,
Yes.
like you said, it's something when you feel it. That's what I make myself do. Somebody was commenting, one of my clients, that she had 30 phone calls to make and she was taking a week to make them and dredge them up. And see, for me, when I have the motion, the passion, the thought right then, you'll see it in my Mojo group. I had an idea the other day for a giveaway. I just went right to the group and said, okay, this is what I'm doing. And out of the woodwork, people come. So it is, but I think a lot of women are, that decision making is hard to take those reins, that ownership. My business coach says a confused mind takes no action. And so
Exactly.
getting clear with someone like you to help this whole plan helps you take that action, which then gives you this personal ease. I mean, it's all
It
so
does.
intertwined in such an
It
amazing
does.
way.
And I'll give your listeners my little tip on decision making. The easiest way to make a decision is to think about it when you're 100 years old and on your rocking chair and you're looking back on your life. Are you going to regret what you did or what you didn't do? And that is how I make my decisions. And that's how I learn to jump. Because as I said to my friend, I said, when I'm 100 years old and looking back on my rocking chair, I'm not going to wish that I worked harder for somebody else. I'm going to regret if I didn't go and do what I want to do. And so the decision is very easy from that point of view. I call it try to avoid rocking chair regrets.
Rocking chair regrets. Ooh, I like that. I won't steal it because it's yours, but I will probably quote it a lot. I like that. So
Easy
that's
decision making.
fantastic. And and also, so that kind of goes on on your happiness level, but also there's a health purpose to it. You mentioned about that if you hadn't left your corporate job, the stress would have killed you.
Yeah.
And women over 50, the literally number one cause of death, heart attacks, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So how do you feel like for yourself that made a difference in your health and maybe how you've seen, the physical health and maybe some of your clients as well? Have you seen how, kind of getting clear and showing something that they love? How has that helped them on a physical, level as well as the emotional level?
You know what? One client told me, she said she had a knot in her stomach. And once we sat down and we worked out, what do you want? Plan all these things. I have worksheets and templates to help people
Oh, love
figure
it.
this out. And when she finally got to, this is my purpose, this is my mission, this is what I'm going to do, this is where I'm heading, she says, my gosh, it's like the knot is gone. And she's still in her job. She's,
Mhm.
I mean, not everybody's going to quit like me,
Yeah.
but she's working towards building her own, and she is ecstatic. And it's like she has a new lease on life. And that alone is a mental lift from you and an emotional lift from, because we don't realize what we're carrying when we are not doing what we love. We're not living the life that we want, right? It takes its toll on us. We just get used to carrying the burden.
Yeah.
But once it lifts, it's like, oh my gosh, why was I living like that?
Yeah. When the light bulb goes on, the window gets lit and shades get lifted. Absolutely. And I have, that I teach women about intermittent fasting, right? And so that's all about the midlife middle. I wrote my book about that. And so that's where a lot of women carry their stress.
Yes.
That's where, the extra stress from all of that life, all of that goes right there. That's where it leads to all of that. So something so simple, right? You may hate your job, but if you're working, like you said, on a second income while you're doing your job, like don't, not everybody's like can quit and take that leap of faith yet,
Yeah.
right? But if you could be working on number two while you're doing number one, maybe not so happy.
Yeah.
Number one sometimes gets a little happier because,
Yes.
like it's like, all right, I just gotta get through this to get to this. So I
Yeah.
love that. Can you talk a little bit more about the income and say the name of the program clearly for me.
Oh, it's the Income Idea Incubator.
Say that fast, 5 times fast.
Income
Income.
Idea Incubator. Income Idea Incubator. I put
There
two
you
into my maths.
go. There you go.
And it's about helping women get unstuck mostly. It's all these women who are sitting, whether they're in corporate or not, just sitting wishing, oh my gosh, what else is there in life? There has to be something else. I don't know what it is, but I feel that something is lacking and I need to do something, but I don't know what to do. And it's that not having a master plan that keeps them stuck. So basically, I help them get unstuck by figuring out what they want in life. Then we go through what their skills are. And people don't realize how many skills they have. They take things for granted, you know. And so then we go through a series of work exercises where we work out what you're good at, what you're interested in, you know. And we get you to ask your family members because you don't see yourself,
Yeah.
right, the way other people do. And then we figure out multiple options for you to make money on the things that you are excited about. And then we choose one because you got to pick one. She said, "Oh, I could do this." And I said, "No, we're going to work on one first.
Yeah.
The others aren't going anywhere, but let's focus."
I have a notebook. I always say, because I have my business coach, and like I just download all the time. Every single week, I'm like that. And she goes, just get out your notebook and write it in the notebook.
Yes.
That's my idea
Yes.
notebook. That's literally
Yep.
what it is. So when I have some time, then I go and there's my ideas. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
And
love
so
that.
basically, it's the promise of the program is to take you from I have no idea to I have a plan, right? Because in 6 weeks, you're not going to start making money, but at least it gets you in motion. You've made your decisions, and now the momentum starts to build. And at least you have a plan. So you know, I am going to be working on this over the next 3 months, 6 months, whatever. And so, yes, you can float into your job because you know I'm working on my stuff,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
not just somebody else's. So you leave with a plan of what to do.
Is it a 6-week program or
6 weeks.
in
Six
is it a
weeks.
group program as well?
Yes. And I may do it as a workshop at the beginning of January, just like a
That's great.
half day for
Mhm.
people who may not want to commit to 6 weeks. I can do a scaled down version, but for right now, it's a 6 week course with weekly calls where
Mhm.
I get
And you're
on.
looking to do the next one starting in January?
Probably, yeah, mid to late January. I haven't booked a date yet because I have a million things that I'm working on.
I'm the same way. I have my program too that I'm launched. I keep saying in January it's coming. So because you want to do it when it's the right time, so you can give your
Yes,
full attention to
yes,
it. Absolutely.
yeah. And I'm
Um,
also thinking of launching a podcast, and I just thought, oh my gosh, this is too much. So I put it in my idea book. Like
there you go. I love it. Well, that's cool that you're looking to start a podcast. I've been enjoying interviewing you. You're very well spoken. So I think you would do great at something like that and have a lot of great information to share with women as well, to not
Thank
only
you.
just give them information, but to inspire them too. Just from, your background and how you share and how you go about your business is very, inspiring and motivational. So
Thank you. I enjoyed being here.
now I wanted to put something up here. Hold on. This right here, this link. Is that the link to your group or what is that a link to? Can you see it there on the screen?
Oh, okay. That is the link to a little freebie that helps you get started in the process of figuring out your income idea. So it takes you through some of the things that we do on the course. And I think it's a good time. People are going to be off for Christmas. It might be a good idea to just sit down for a couple hours and work through it. There's
Mhm.
certain questions, there's space to write, and just start putting the idea and percolating,
And you're right.
because it's a
Now
new
is the
year.
perfect time to do it because,
Yeah,
things are winding down and, all of that.
it's a new year. At least you can maybe start the year with a little bit more looking forward to, oh my gosh, I can do this. Or look, I have all these ideas. Or, it's always nice to start on a high note.
Yes, absolutely. And I think a lot of us are ready to put this year behind us and start fresh.
Yes.
So I think that having, I'm a big believer. This is literally, I was told my husband today, I said, this is the weekend, honey, that we sit down and we talk about, okay, what do we want for our next year in our business, in our home? We have columns, we do the whole 9 yards, but we take that time. And I
Yes.
think, like you said, by taking that time, having a plan, having the support of somebody to show you, like yourself, how to get from having no idea to having an idea is huge, because
Yes.
that's, I think, the biggest part, right? I mean, once you've got your idea, there's things you can do, and there's always softwares, there's always ways to run stuff, but
Yeah.
it's getting from the I have nothing to what do I, to having something, that is the hard part. And I love
Yes.
that you take specifically, midlife women,
Yes.
and you do this because, those are the women who are near and dear to my heart. We've been ignored for too long, and we have beyond the gifts of wisdom and
Yes,
skills to share that are been
lot.
lying dormant.
We
You
have
know,
skills in spades. We may not always appreciate it because we're so busy doing, running, for everyone else. And this is meant for us.
I love that. So, yeah, on that note, if there's any final comments, words of wisdom that you have, and then I just want to invite my guests to make sure we'll put in the comments your that link to your freebie. Thank you so much. I'm excited to see what you ladies come up with in the coming year. But do you have any just final last kind of words before I send you off into, I don't know where that goes, the clouds somewhere?
I would just say to all women 40 plus out there that you have more skills than you think you do, and that you owe it to yourself to maximize your slice of time that we are given on the planet, to make yourself as happy and passionate and purpose filled and fulfilled as possible. And that having control over your income gives you control over your time, and therefore it gives you control over your life. And I'm not telling anyone to leave their job. I'm just saying maximize everything you can in your life. And it's just another opportunity to do that.
10x your life, ladies. I love it,
Yeah.
right? Get the maximum. I love it. Thank you so much for being here. Hang on there while I just finish up with everybody. And but thank you so much for being with us. And ladies, definitely take advantage. Definitely, we'll put this in the comments so you can get to know Kathryn a little bit better.
Thanks
All
for
right.
inviting me.
Absolutely. Bye-bye. All
Bye.
right. So wonderful. Yay. That was awesome. I love talking that kind of, mixing up our health, our happiness, our business, our lives. It's all so intertwined. So I think Kathryn was just a wonderful, wonderful guest to have on here. So just to wrap things up, speaking of business, today is Cyber Monday, last day of my sales in my Midlife Mojo group, in my Midlife Mojo store. I'm sorry. And just about everything is 40 to 50% off. So make sure that you get in there as well. That includes my 6-week weight loss course on intermittent fasting and oils. So definitely, if you're thinking about for the new year, a new start in terms of your health and wellness, you want to jump in there today and take advantage of that. And then looking forward in about another 10, 11 days, I will be starting 8 nights of giveaways. I've had wonderful women who have donated some books and some other things to the giveaway. And every night there'll be a little contest for you guys to do some fun things and win some cool prizes with some wonderful ladies who are doing some great things in this world. They've got their midlife mojo. So I want you all to have just a wonderful, wonderful week. And we will see you in the Midlife Mojo group.